and welcome to another episode of Your Right to Know, brought to you by the Fitchburg Republican City Committee. Tonight, I will be your host. My name is Andrew Couture, and with me, as always, is my lovely co-host, Mary Lotze. How are you doing tonight, Mary?
I'm doing very well, Andrew. Thank you.
And we have a very interesting topic for our show this evening, loss of faith, God, faith, and tradition as we become a heartless and unhappy society. And I think if you look at the news, you would agree with that philosophy. Tonight, we have Senior Pastor Bryan Tomes, Senior Pastor of the Crossroads Community Church of Fitchburg. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on your show.
And as a way to set the stage for the discussion tonight, I'd like to have you introduce yourself to our viewing audience and letting people know what the church you are from and a bit of your personal and ministerial background.
Sure. My name is Pastor Bryan Tomes. I pastor Crossroads Community Church right here in Fitchburg, Massachusetts. I'm a graduate of Zion Bible College out of Providence, Rhode Island, which is now in Haverhill, Massachusetts, under the name North Point Bible College. And so came here in 2005, and we've been growing ever since. And I am privileged to lead some of the most greatest, what I feel to be the greatest people in New England. These people are amazing at Crossroads Community Church. Everything from the pastoral staff to every one of our volunteers. They just love to greet and treat people when they come. Matter of fact, we're just getting ready to celebrate our SERB teams, and we're having a big banquet, and we're going on the Spirit of Boston cruise. We're taking everybody,
nice.
200 people. We're going on and then we're going to, have our Volunteer of the Year award, and so for outstanding service to the community and to the kingdom, and so we're grateful for that. But like I said, I get to pastor the greatest church in New England, and that's Crossroads Community Church.
Excellent. Well, this is our December program, and I think it's a fitting way to end and share a message of hope and definitely troubled times as we go into a religious holiday. Pastor Tomes, you've been on the show before, and we've had two young people from your congregation who talked about being young Republicans and proud conservatives and being devout Christians. They were absolutely a breath of fresh air.
Zaley and Gabriel?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Zaley is actually a graduate of the River School of Government down in Tampa, Florida. So she would make a great councilwoman. I mean, sky's the limit with her. So I try to encourage her. So they're actually getting married. So
That's
the process
wonderful.
of planning.
That's wonderful.
And then I told her, I go, you gotta get going, Zaley.
So when we're using this as a jump-off point for our discussion, what's your perspective? Why is America losing its religion or faith?
I don't think America's losing its religion and faith. I just think that there's churches that are losing people. And those people are going to churches where they feel the presence and the power of God. People are done with formal religion. They want relationship. They want engagement. And they're not looking for presentation as much as they're looking for manifestation. So there's been a great outpouring. We've seen so many new families coming in just recently that are coming in, and not just people from, we don't proselytize or whatever, but we want people to, our whole purpose at Crossroads Community Church is for people to experience the love and the power of God in their lives. So everything we do, we run through that filter. So when people come in, I want them to feel the presence of God. Not only feel the presence of God, I want them to see manifestations of His power. I want them to feel what we feel. And so, I don't think America's hopeless. I don't think that America is losing faith. I think there's a great revival in the land that's happening right now. But most people are unaware of that because they're looking at troubles instead of looking at the promises. And so, we're seeing a great influx of new people, but not only just new people that are unchurched, but people that need a solid or stable church because they feel like they're coming out of a very turbulent situation.
Why do you think in so many people's lives, and we were talking a little bit before we started tonight about just some of the anger that people have. They're just holding in a pent-up anger that they will. I was out getting signatures to citizen petitions. And all as you have, we sit outside grocery stores and we say hi to people, and we're very nice. We're not attacking people or verbally abusing people or running them over with shopping carts or anything. And rather than just looking at us and saying, no, thank you, and walking on by, not all of them, but a significant portion of people will stop by and verbally accost us with questions, with why are you doing this? Why are you sitting here? They're angry at us because we're doing something that they don't agree with. Is this their default position, to just be angry all the time? I just wonder, what must their home life be like? You as an attorney must see a lot of it.
I do see
in
a
your
lot of it,
practice,
yeah.
that people just can't let go of the hostility and anger. And these are not people that will come and seek out a church to find some hope. How do you reach those people? How do you reach that?
Are they
depth?
mad at you, or are they mad at what you're doing?
Well, some of both, and they're mad at what we're doing, but they really internalize it or focus to us as
they
people.
project it on you.
Yeah.
And what were you doing? You were representing candidates, or
we've done it representing a candidate. We were doing it representing 2 petitions that we just want people to sign, so it will go on the ballot. This issue will go on the ballot in 2024. This is how our government works. Like it or not, this is exactly the petition referendum and recall.
Look at what happened at Market Basket when the ID for illegals came up, and people were getting petitions, and somebody just outright accosted a couple of the people that were getting signatures.
Right.
And criminal charges arose. What is with this hostility with some of the people that either through lack of faith or just an outright hostility towards
humanity. So people they don't even know.
I think it's a lot of underlying stuff. Yeah, they probably had bad, and they're mad at something else, and they're projecting it. Like, let's say you're on a thing. So they're mad at the person that you're representing, so they're going to take it out on you. Mm-hmm. Or they're mad at somebody else, and they just want to. It's a great source for them to vent their anger.
Yeah.
But people are sick of people are sick and tired of being lied to. And so that's a great problem that we have. If you can't trust the people that are in office, you know what I mean? Then everything else is a trickle down. And there's a real agenda against the United States of America to push towards this globalism stuff. I feel like there's people that are sitting in the White House right now that are trying to undermine the very Constitution and the fabric of the United States of America. And I think there's people that are bent on destruction and pumping these ideologies and these agendas into the hearts of people. They're pushing stuff. They're making people mad.
Well, what was I just listening to this morning? Of course, the Chinese are behind TikTok, and many young people are getting all of their news, and what is being embedded into their head is through some of these memes on TikTok. Something just silly.
It's also just the regular media as well. Mm-hmm. You talk about TikTok, but even the everyday news now is geared towards a certain perspective. And if you don't believe in that certain perspective, well, then there's something wrong with you.
Well, you're silenced. Mm-hmm. Your rights are taken away. You're silenced. You're shut down, and could even be worse. You could be marginalized and put in jail or have your rights.
People have a mentality that you have to be louder to be heard. And so I think, coming against something and being as loud as you possibly can somehow, there's a dominance over the, the agenda or whatever's being portrayed.
When people come to your church, new parishioners, I don't even know if parishioners is the proper term, but new parishioners come to your church, and you get some of these people because they're seeking, they're looking. Yeah. They know they're in a bad situation. Maybe they're abusing substances or their family or their pets or whatever. They know that they're on the edge. So they come to your church. Do they ever talk to you as the pastor and tell you why they're seeking out a new place? Or are they anonymous and just hope that by sitting in the congregation week after week and listening to the word and listening to you speak, that it will automatically infuse them with some sort of zeal for life?
You know, a lot of people come to the church for different reasons, and so we can't identify necessarily what specific reasons. So we try to address things in a holistic manner. I believe this: if we can change the way that you think, then we can help change the way that you live. Mm-hmm. And so, like you said, people are lost. People come; they want answers. And so the best thing we can do is get them in touch with somebody that has all the answers, and that is God. God has all the answers. He's created us, He's made us, He's formed us, He knows us, and He wants to help us. And so we want to get people into a relationship with the ultimate creator of the universe. There is no higher authority than God Himself. And any authority that's been established below that has been established by Him. So He allows all of this stuff to happen. So people are looking for answers, and we try to help get them to the person, and that's God. And Jesus has the answers for everything that they're looking for in life. And when you have a better perspective, then you'll live a better life.
Well, on October 7th, Hamas assaulted and slaughtered innocents in Gaza, which was reported to be a culmination of a long building anger over Israeli policies, including recent outbreaks and violence, but more generally over the treatment of Palestinians and the expansion of Israeli settlements. Where does this type of evil come from? Like, what are these people?
You just said it right there. It's evil. There's an evil agenda against God's holy land. That's the, and see, for everybody outside of Christ, or people that don't really have faith in God, or have never read their Bibles. So for Christians, these are just end times events for us. This is something we've been waiting for, and this is no surprise to us.
But it's even come over, to this country, where you have Palestinian protests, you have people pulling down
posters,
propaganda, all propaganda
of missing people that were over there, trying to get some sort of understanding. I'm just at a loss for words exactly.
Because it's soulless.
I mean, they were beheading
it's void.
Children, babies. I mean, you don't get much more evil than that.
No, and so what we're seeing here in the Middle East is Israel defending her nation against an evil tyranny, and I would say Islamic. I wouldn't just blame the people of Islam, but it is this is a fight over a holy city. This is a fight over Holy Land.
But it's being done in the name of religion.
That's the problem. This is bigger than that. This is end times unfolding itself before our very eyes.
But it seems like, especially the current administration, it seems like they have a lackluster approach. As they'd rather see, they're just saying, slow down, let's not.
They're not slowing down.
Of course not. They were attacked.
Yeah.
Their people were slaughtered, and they want retribution, obviously. But they're going into Gaza to try to find the people that were kidnapped. I mean, horribly kidnapped. Women were raped. Children were taken from their parents and brought into God knows where.
I heard a terrible statistic this morning. I don't want to disturb any viewers, but at least 80% of all those people who were murdered on October 7th were tortured before the murder was because they died of the horrible torturing. So it wasn't just like, we think it's awful when someone walks in with a machine gun and mows down a nightclub or something. We think that's awful, but it's instant. This was a systematic approach to really demoralize.
They're trying to destroy. They won't be satisfied until every Jew is murdered, and that whole region taken over. So that's just a holy war that's happening there. That is darkness against light.
So in your church, you work from the Bible,
Yep.
Which is sort of the basis of all religions. Some people call it the
The Islam is not a base of Islam religion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's the base of our belief. Mm-hmm. It's where we build everything out of in our lives. As a Christian, I build my life on that word.
Now, in your church, do you have the symbolisms of religion that, we'll say, the Catholic Church? I'm Catholic. The Catholic Church has Christmas. We have the manger, the creche, things like that. Does your church have that type of?
Well, we're not really more into symbolism as we are, like I said, based on a relationship. So I want to bring His people into an encounter with God. You know what I mean? And so whatever would take to get that job done.
I mean, in our societies even today, we have a total rejection of any symbol that would just be symbolic of a religion. Yeah, at Christmas time or in the holidays period, you might see outside of City Hall or on the front lawn of a library, you might see the manger, you might in the green, the town green, a manger and a menorah, and something that symbolizes many religions. But right away you get the people who are angry about it.
You can't even call it a Christmas tree anymore. In fact, Leominster does their holiday tree.
Who says 4 angry people?
Mm-hmm. Well, we bow down to 4 angry.
It's a Christmas tree.
We bow down to.
Of course, I call it a Christmas tree.
You can call it whatever you want to call it. I'm calling it a Christmas tree.
Well, Santa has definitely taken over Jesus in terms of popularity in the holidays. In our society.
I don't know. You look at Halloween. Halloween that was like a. I think all that stuff is moving out the way.
You think
there's
so?
a great revival happening right now in this land, and I'm so happy to be a part of it. Just whatever part it would be, but it's starting. It's just a big red wave that's going all the way from the East Coast to the West Coast. Everything is getting covered in the blood of Jesus right now.
Now, do you find this red wave and the revitalization or revivalism, do you find it all ages, all ethnicities?
Oh, yeah.
Is it
primarily a lot of young people are really coming? These kids are getting on fire for the Lord right now. They're getting bold. I just think there's something that's stirring in the United States of America, because people have had it. Mm-hmm. People have had it with all the lies. I think there's a line that's being drawn in the sand. I mean, the left has gone so far left. You know what I mean? And that people are just like, even the people in the Democratic Party are like, we don't want to go this far left.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think there's a lot of activity right now, and especially that's what's happening in the Middle East. I mean, America needs a revival.
Right. That's almost been a culmination of people's sensibilities. If you have any kind of a humanity in you, when you heard what happened over in the Middle East, to innocence, it just shook. It shook people. It should have shaken people.
Remember this: the enemy always tries to get you to look at something different than what God is trying to do. I mean, in America, we are in revival right now, and anything that the enemy can do to get us to get our eyes off of that, he's going to do.
So if somebody wants to come to your church, what would they expect to find? Do you have, since I am Catholic, I only know the reference of my own, do you have a service at an allotted time or prescribed time? Do you have other events that people would go to?
We have a Sunday morning, and then we have a midweek, and then sometimes we'll do what we call a Super Sunday. We'll have Sunday morning and a Sunday night, where we could gather together. So the Bible says that we should not neglect meeting together, as some get in the habit of doing, but we should meet all the more as that day approaches. So Jesus is coming back. And he's coming back for a bride that's the church, without spot or wrinkle. And he wants everybody to come to the saving knowledge that Jesus is Lord, because he's going to come. He's going to come back, and he's going to come back as a judge, and he's going to be separating the wheat and the tares. He's going to separate the sheep and the goats. He's going to draw a line in the sand. And we believe that there's going to be a great catching up in the air when he comes down, and then he's going to set up the millennial reign of Christ. Well, he will rule and reign for 1,000 years, and then there's a lot of things that are going to take place during that time. Right now, I think we are at the birth pains of these end times events. There's going to be a great battle. There's going to be all of these things are going to start taking place, one thing after the next. There's going to be the rise of the Antichrist. There's going to be a one world government. There's going to be, all of these things are going to take place. So when we see that stuff, we know that this is the soon coming of Jesus Christ, where he's going to return. And he's not looking for religion. He's looking for people that are in relationship with him. And so this is a big difference, you know what I mean? And I think a lot of young people sense in their spirit, because we are made up of three parts. We're made up of body, soul, and spirit. Our spirit never dies, but the body does. And so as a Christian, we will be translated with him, but there's something in our spirits that knows something's happening right now. Like right now, even in your spirit, you know that there's something greater that's happening in the earth than just a war in the Middle East. And just, you know, whether people, some people see people leaving church. I see a great influx of people coming to church.
Do you think religion and government should be separate, or do you see it as...
That's a great question. That is a great question. I think that the enemy of our souls and the enemy of the church has far too long gotten those things separated from each other. Where if you look in every New England town, what's in the middle of every New England town?
A church.
A white church, right? The church was the center of everything.
The center of the community.
Center of the community. It was the meeting place. It was the, I feel the Spirit of God right now. This the teaching place. God was the center. This was the idea of the New England that moved away from old corrupt England to establish a new way of government, a new way to live. Look at the Constitution. Look what they did. They set this thing up so tyranny can't prevail. And so, you know, like that's why we had our constitutional Chris Ann Hall come. People need to know that we have constitutional rights, not to be snow shoveled or not to be bulldozed by the enemy. So if we know what you have as your freedoms, then you'd be more apt to guard them. You know what I mean? Like they're going to try to come for the guns. They're going to try to take over. They're going to try to get rid of the Constitution. I don't understand why we have people that are in office that want to destroy this great country. I don't ever know how that ever happened.
People are so quick to lose their rights. They don't even, I really believe people don't even know that they're losing them.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, that was the last conversation we had with Pastor Tomes in regards to the closing of the churches due to COVID.
Right.
And you fought against that, and thank you for doing that. You know, I mean, that just shows that people are too quick to give up their rights for safety. And
perceived safety.
Yeah, because truly, I mean, let's face it, the COVID-19 crisis was a crisis, but we really didn't have to shut down the world.
It was a flu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The flu's been around. It killed just...
And we still have...
People don't realize that the flu killed 500,000 people just the year before.
Yep.
Yeah.
500,000, 2018, 500,000. Every year, 500,000 people from the flu.
Yeah. It's sad, but it's a reality. It's life.
But they shut down the world. They shut down people's rights, you know, all because of a cold.
But people accepted it.
It was more. This
and
was.
if you didn't agree to certain people, if you didn't agree, then you were the evil person.
Well,
you were the bad person.
You lost your job many times.
Yep.
Someone told me one time, you're going to let a mask. A mask is a mask. That's a dividing point. You look even today, even people that, you know, there's people that wear masks and there's people that don't. Those are two different kinds of people, right?
Yeah, I still see people driving alone in their car with a mask on. Really, to this day,
Yep.
I saw it. I was walking down the center of Leominster, and there was a person that drove by, had a mask on. They were the only ones in the car. I just don't understand it.
Well, you know what I mean? And they would say, you don't understand why I'm wearing the mask.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Well, I think that's, you know, at that point you would have to agree.
We've got to do stuff in this country that brings us together.
And masks certainly separated
And some
us.
masks are certain, you know what I mean? I always say it like this at a church, you know what I mean? If you want to wear a mask, leave the people that don't alone.
Yeah.
Okay, that's your perspective.
And vice versa.
Yeah, and vice versa. If someone wants to wear a mask, you know what I mean? You condemning them isn't going to help them. You know what I mean? Maybe having a conversation, or you know what I mean, trying to help them. That's really going to help. But you know what I mean? Don't let a mask or anything just you know. But there is a separation, unfortunately.
Now, in your church, you invite speakers to discuss important topics of the day, not just Christian topics, correct? Now, why do you introduce these topics into the church?
So let's take Chris Ann Hall. I brought a constitutional attorney in so people can understand their constitutional rights. You know what I mean? So I try to bring in the best of people that are in their field. So we have revivalists that come in. I brought Lance Wallnow was there. He came in on a Sunday morning. That was like a great opportunity. He's on Daystar. But he's really, you know, God's given him a great revelation. And this is what you talked about, the separation of church and state. No. That's what the enemy wants us just to stay on one mountain. You just stay in the religion mountain. But I believe that Christians, we should be involved in finance. And this is why we're seeing evil has taken all these mountains, and the Christians have stayed out of all that, out of education. Look what's happening in our school systems right now, because Christians don't want to get involved. We need to, as believers, because we carry truth. We carry light. We carry hope. We carry joy. This is what our children need for life. Do you realize that happy people live longer than unhappy people? Happy people work better than unhappy people. Would you rather have happy people work for you or unhappy? It goes without saying, right? So let's do things to help. And that's what's missing from a lot of the churches. And you know why people are leaving a lot of these churches? No joy.
Yeah.
No joy. You know, why would I want to go to something that makes me feel bad?
You know what? Now we have to feel bad because we have to say goodbye to you. Our time is up. I feel so bad because this was a wonderful show, and hope our viewers found hope and positivity in it. And we thank you for watching Your Right to Know and sitting in here tonight with the Fitchburg Republican City Committee and with Reverend Bryan Tomes. Your Republican Committee is your only grassroots organization that supports and holds dear your constitutional rights and your conservative values. We encourage you to join us. Why? Because to us, the GOP stands for growth, opportunity, and prosperity for all people. And we always stand for freedom. Thank you. Good night. Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year. Thank you.
Stand for freedom, so let us all unite to yearn and strive for our republic that reflects our values, that preserves our rights, and goes forth in power and might, that reflects our values and preserves our rights.